December 6, 1992, a turning point in Indian history where religion and politics violently collided. The Babri Masjid was demolished by a mob incited by political and religious ideology, leaving a nation divided with deep and lasting scars.
What happened in Ayodhya on 6th was very unfortunate. It should not have happened. We tried to prevent it, but we did not succeed. We are sorry for that.
So, Babri Masjid demolition was a blight on the history of India, and it was a challenge to the kind of nation we decided to create. So when modern India came about after centuries of rule by the British and before that other people also, modern India came about. There you start with a clean slate.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny.
In 1947, India gained independence, but the land was divided into two nations. Pakistan was founded as a religious state while India chose a different path. India embraced secularism, laying the foundation for a nation where all citizens are equal. The Indian Constitution was crafted to uphold pluralistic values, ensuring that diversity would be celebrated, and every individual would have a place in this new, united nation.
You look at the country and you say there are people from multiple faiths here, people from multiple backgrounds here, and you say that we are all equal now and that we all have equal rights. When in a situation like this, you have multiple people from adherents of multiple religions and people from different cultural backgrounds, there are bound to be conflicts. Because we are still creatures who have evolved from apes, we have very fundamental gripes with each other, which we choose to solve using violence. And in a situation like that, if a political party or political leader comes about who realizes that there is anger beneath the surface that I can weaponize in order to create conflict and then feed off that conflict to gain more power, that is what the BJP kind of did with Babri Masjid. The BJP fueled the violence against, used the Babri Masjid as a symbol of oppression, which it, frankly, I am personally of the opinion that it doesn't really matter whether it was a symbol of oppression or not. What it was in present times is that it was a symbol of one particular religion's faith. And by destroying it, they tried to send out a message that India belongs to Hindus only. And to a great extent, they succeeded then as well as much later, like in 2014, to create a huge base of people who will support their contention that India belongs to Hindus. When in reality, the promise that we made to ourselves when we created the Constitution of India, or rather gave the Constitution of India to ourselves, is that India belongs to every person, every Indian. So the Babri Masjid demolition was religion being used by a certain party in order to pave its path to power.
In the last decade, India has seen a troubling rise in communalism, religious tensions, and a growing wave of Hindu nationalism. Political powers have shamelessly exploited faith and national pride for electoral gains, with the BJP using the deeply religious nature of Indian society to secure power, often at the expense of the nation's secular fabric.
We live not only in a nation, but also in a time where religion and politics are very, very intertwined. Politics is done on the basis of religion. Religion itself becomes something that promotes certain kinds of politics. But the Ram Mandir issue seems to have had its expiry date. It came and went. So we are looking at right now, again, many attempts to create something long-lasting like that. With other mosques that people want to demolish and build temples in their place. Communal harmony is frequently disturbed. We are right now looking at several instances of violence against members of the Muslim community. And these are all the things that continue to support the political party, because it is a hawkish political party where the main thing that its political fortunes ride on is societal discord.
Societal discord has always simmered in India, with the communal tensions a part of its history, but people mostly live together in a diverse society. Under Modi's rule, though things have taken a dark turn, his divisive policies has created a toxic environment, exploiting religion and national pride to profit from chaos, tearing apart the nation's inclusive spirit.
There always has been a sense of discord between Hindu and Muslim communities. The point is not that that strain exists. The point is that what do we do with it? The problem is when the political parties or the politicians or people following a certain ideology decide that this is profitable for me, so I am going to spread more violence in society, I am going to spread more discord in society so that my personal political fortunes bloom.
ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे, घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा?
What has happened in the last 10 years is a kind of shamelessness has been mainstreamed, where people do not even feel embarrassed to say that, no, I am totally in favor of violence against those people. Because it is not as if we didn't have fundamentalism before that. We did. But people are ashamed to say some things in public. And what this government did was that it created a fertile ground where people could just come out and say whatever they wanted without getting accused in public of being uncivilized. So essentially what happened in these 10 years was that a political party realized that there was this undercurrent of fundamentalism in India. It brought it to the surface, it took it off the surface and made it the mainstream, or at least tried to make it the mainstream. And the main reason behind this was that they wanted people to not pay attention to the massive corruption that they were doing in the country. And fortunately to nahi bolunga, unfortunately, after a lot of people lost their lives, after a lot of people protested and their appeals fell on deaf ears, we got the 2024 election, where a certain slight turn seems to have happened and people seem to have realized that you can be as proud a Hindu as it is possible to be and your children still won't have a job.
Unemployment has alarmingly spiked in recent times in India, leaving a vast population of youth disillusioned and vulnerable. Many have been driven into violent mob-like behavior fueled by religious pride and hatred towards minorities, openly displaying radical, toxic and communal Hindutva ideology.
There were voters, first-time voters in 2024, right? If they were 18 or thereabouts, they were literally 8 years old when Narendra Modi came to power, right? So their entire childhood has been spent in a world where they have seen nothing except the politics of Hindu appeasement. They have seen the politics of, appealing to religious sentiments. The Prime Minister holding an object of religious significance and entering the parliament. The Prime Minister dressing in garish clothes. While we grew up thinking of the country as a place where multiple opinions exist, multiple positions exist, multiple parties, multiple religions exist, and they all talk to each other. This generation has grown up looking at a country where one person has all the power, he makes all the decisions, and every decision he makes is somehow colored through his religious lens, the Hindu lens. So it creates an impact. Whatever I am as a result of my childhood. Whatever these people are, they will be as a result of their childhoods. So even if this government goes away today, it will take close to a decade to undo the damage to the psyche of India that these guys have done. I also speak of the people for whom the defining characteristic of the nation for the last 10 years has not been fundamentalism, it has been fear. I'm speaking to you right now, and there are things I'm holding back. It has become second nature to all of us to hold back because we are afraid of consequences. We are afraid of governments taking action against us. We're afraid of the law enforcement coming after us, the courts not doing justice to us. That is the character of this India that this party has created in the last 10 years.
What the current government has done is created a sense of fear by creating a strongman image that they will go after media organizations which are critical of them.
Fear has gripped India's press freedom. Voices of dissent are being silenced. Journalists are attacked, jailed, and frequently intimidated by government agencies. The situation has reached a point where India now holds a poor reputation for press freedom globally.
Increasing censorship by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has put India's democracy at risk.
A global watchdog monitoring freedom of expression has named India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi as one of 37 predators of press freedom.
And when news media reports on these issues, they are labelled as anti-national or Hindu-phobic.
The article claimed we were anti-India and anti-Hindu.
Looked at us in the face and said, "You are the most hostile foreign organisation in India right now."
Fire your Hindu-phobic employees, Guardian.
More authoritarian tendencies, some analysts say, with few checks on his power.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. #Brand Modi.
It's a knockout punch by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the...
While most of the mainstream Indian news media has completely abandoned journalistic integrity, all they do is shower the ruling party with praise.
These days, when you look at our national TV channels, news channels, they literally look like their single and only purpose for existence is to praise the Prime Minister.
और इसीलिए एकांत में बैठकर आप साधना के माध्यम से खुद
They don't question the government, they don't question anything. They just wait for the government to tell them what they're supposed to say, and they just repeat it.
They repeat and echo the same polarizing rhetoric that benefits the government. Spreading hate, attacking minorities, and deepening societal rifts. And they do it with brazen shamelessness. This is the disgraceful state of the so-called fourth pillar of Indian democracy.
यानी हिंदुओं की हिस्सेदारी 7.82% कम हुई.
And in today's India, scholars, educators, writers, journalists, rationalists and secularists are being targeted.
They're not going to extend my visa. I actually can't quite believe that they're doing this, and it sets a really bad precedent for India.
The Indian government has failed to give visas to Al Jazeera's correspondents to cover this story.
My visa has been cancelled and I have 15 days to turn in my OCI.
Government has revoked the overseas citizenship of India card of author atheist.
My OCI was cancelled by the Home Ministry on Twitter.
I'm the first Indian-born academic. OCI has been cancelled.
I will not go back to India until regime change.
और भारत को सिस्टमैटिकली इस्लामिक देश बनाने का एजेंडा चल रहा है.
हिंदू राष्ट्र, आने वाले समय में ये मेरा भारत देश अखंड.
While Hindu fundamentalists spreading hate and division are thriving because their agenda aligns with the government's. Both work together to push a divisive religious agenda that helps maintain political power.
अगर हिंदुस्तान में रहकर अगर हिंदुओं को अगर कोई ललकारेगा, उसको इस भारत देश में हम रहने नहीं देंगे.
हिंदू अलग संस्कृति है, मुस्लिम अलग संस्कृति है. दोनों एक साथ नहीं रह सकती. दो संस्कृतियां कभी एक साथ नहीं रह सकती हैं.
I've always maintained that the solution to dehumanization is humanization. If the narrative that is being built is about those people are terrible human beings, you solve it with a counter narrative that emphasizes our shared humanity. If we all manage to get to a point where we can imagine that the person who we think is fundamentally evil because their religion is evil actually goes through the same problems in life like everyone else. Like, when unemployment strikes, it strikes the Hindu, the Muslim, the Christian, the Zoroastrian, everyone. And when price rise happens, everyone bears the brunt of it. So if we can get to a point where those concerns become primary, instead of this manufactured narrative of anger, hatred, and discontent that is being created and maintained so that one specific political ideology benefits from it, then yeah, we will be one step closer to solving the problem.